Hey guys, my name is Jeremy Hood. This is my mother-in-law's 99 Toyota Camry with a 2.2 liter 4-cylinder engine. We've been struggling with several things on this car, but most recently I had a devil of a time figuring this problem out, and that's we had engine codes 773 and 770. Among some other stuff that's unrelated. The 770, well, first thing when I Googled it, I found to check the transmission fluid level, so I went ahead and did that. It was low. I think it was either half a quart or a quart, I can't remember. So I topped it off, cleared the codes. 773 came right back, 770 went away, and we haven't seen it for a couple of months. So the 773 engine code is what I was chasing. And I've looked everywhere, looked through pictures, diagrams, couldn't find jack diddly squat on it. Such a pain in the ass. So finally, took it in. So when I Googled it, the first thing was check the transmission fluid level. Then the second thing, I just took it into a mechanic. He suggested flushing the transmission fluid out, so we did that. And he not only changed the transmission fluid and the filter, but he also used a product made by a company called BG, like Boy George. Anyway, BG to clean out everything, and he said it removes all the tarnish and all the varnish buildup, that kind of stuff in the car. Well, we cleared the code probably 3-4 times between the mechanic and me, and still had 773 came back in no time at all. So then I was left with changing out shift solenoid E as in echo. Now good luck finding shift solenoid E as in echo. Even calling the dealer, they have no clue. There's shift solenoids 1 and 2, there's control solenoids 1 and 2, there's a lockup solenoid, etc., etc. I checked Rock Auto, which is where I buy everything. No shift solenoid E as in echo. Blah blah blah, huge pain. Finally tracked it down to what I've been focused in on here is that's the transmission, that's the front of the transmission, and I'll talk a little bit more about that specifically, but we actually tracked it down by location because the mechanic I took it to said that's the solenoid that needs to be changed. So as it turns out, that is shift solenoid 3, 1, 2, 3. Shift solenoid 3. So and it sits behind the neutral control switch, so I want to get into that a little bit in a second. So finally had to track it down at a dealer. It's a little over $150, at least where I am. I'm going to go pick it up in a few minutes. So I wanted to do like a 3-part video. This part's like an introduction and how I took that solenoid out. The second part I want to do is, once I have the new part, putting it in, and then the third part will be confirmation that everything works. Otherwise I wouldn't post it to YouTube. And like I said, I couldn't really find anything, so I'm hoping this will be helpful to somebody, even though I'm rambling on forever. I apologize for that. So, first thing I did, you can see I pulled the car in the garage. Nice comfortable place for it to sit for a few days while I figure this mess out. It's been here overnight, so it's nice and cool. I took a garden hose and I just sprayed all over the engine, including down in there, even on the wires, everything. Just took a garden hose and sprayed the heck out of it, especially down there because I didn't want any dirt to get in the transmission. And it was still extremely dirty and I had to be really careful. So first thing I did was took out the battery, just for convenience. You could probably work around it. I chose not to. You just pop out the battery, and then there's a little plastic, I don't know where the plastic thing is, I put it somewhere. But anyway, there's a little plastic piece that sits right on top here that's not there right now. Actually, it's kind of bothering. Oh, there it is. So there's the little plastic piece. It just sits there loosely, at least in this car. Maybe it's missing a bolt or two, I don't know. So then I started digging down in here, and the transmission dipstick right here was getting in the way. So all I had to do was, this sits something like this, and all I had to do was pop this bolt out right there, and then this was just sorry, I'm holding it upside down, aren't I? Sorry. So I had to pop that bolt loose right there, and then this is just a pressure fitting, so it just slid right out. I kind of twisted it a little bit here and there. Oh, and by the way, pull the dipstick out before you start doing that. And then, don't know if I'll be able to videotape it very well, but that's the hole where the dipstick came out. I just took some duct tape. I kind of cleaned around it, pushed the dirt out away from the hole, and then just put some duct tape over it so no dirt gets in the transmission. Then the next step was, this is the neutral control switch. It sits like this in front of the solenoid in question. Of course, it sits back all the way. And to get this off, there's one bolt here, one bolt here, and then where this rod comes through, there's another bolt on the end of that. Or nut, not bolt. Anyway. And I took this loose, but I didn't have to. So I ended up putting it back on. And you can tell this is kind of adjusted and locked into place. So I put it back where I think it was. So I may have messed something up and have to adjust it again. And I don't know how to do that, but I'll figure it out. And then this was just a matter of kind of wiggling. I even took like a screwdriver and put it behind it and kind of pried it a little bit. And then eventually it popped off. So no biggie there. Okay? And oh, and before I took that off, sorry, the order's a little screwed up here. I had to pop this off the end of here. So this was sitting on the end of that. Okay? So I popped that loose, popped that off, and then this became pretty easy to get to. Taking this plug off, you notice this is the plug that goes on to the solenoid in question. It's shorter than I thought. The solenoid itself has a big rubber grommet on it, or whatever you call that. And I kept trying to pry the whole thing and it wouldn't come loose. It's just this little bit that comes off. And then it was super easy to take off. Now, another confusing thing was, you notice the bolt for the solenoid, there's one here and one in the back. I took this one loose, which relates to this. And I didn't have to, so I put it right back on. Okay? There's a nice convenient little spot to put a light if you have one of these. I bought that at Harbor Freight. That makes it really convenient to work. Also have the light going on the video right now, so that looks pretty good. Okay, now all of this was filthy dirty, filthy. So before I took the solenoid off, I cleaned out as best I could with my finger, paper towels, just any way to get it clean. Because you don't want dirt getting in the transmission, especially since we just had the fluid changed. Okay, so that's taking the thing out. I'm going to pause this video and show you the solenoid itself. And the second video we'll be putting the new one in. Alright, I'll be right back. Alright, this is the solenoid itself that came out. It sits vertically in the front of the transmission, and by the front of the transmission I mean toward the front of the car, right? It's only got one wire that hooks on with that plug I just talked about, and this is what I was talking about, where it looked like this whole rubber piece comes off, but it doesn't. It just comes off from right there. So I had a tough time getting that off. I've washed this. It was completely filthy. And the reason I took this off before I had the new part was I couldn't figure out what the heck this part was. So the dealer suggested, why don't you take the part out, look up the part number, tell me what it is, and I'll get you a new one. Well, hopefully you can tell. There's no part numbers on here except a 3U as in uncle right there. Not very clear, but it's there. I even flipped this upside down looking for a part number, looked all in here. There's no part number. So good luck finding it. Alright, next video I'll have the new part going in.